Good afternoon, this is Jared Rand, and welcome everyone to the Global Guided Meditation Call for 3 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, August 7th, 2018. And thinking about today, and as things are progressing on the planet, and some things seem to be complicated. We look at complication and how humanity makes things complicated. We all, everything seems to be so involved and complicated, and so many things to look at, and so many confusing things. And that's been throughout history. That we take things and we don't, we don't keep it simple. We don't. Everything's got to be so involved and so detailed, and that's where a lot of people get really confused and throw their hands up in the air and say, just forget about it, because it's just too complicated. And the interesting thing is, we have the old saying that says, "Life's simple pleasures are the best." And when we look at that statement, and we look at our lives, and we start to realize that that's true. That rings true. The simplest things that we do, that we gain or have pleasure and enjoyment out of, are simple. There's nothing complicated. Have you ever noticed that when we get things, we're planning or we're doing things, and we try to lay out a schedule and whatever, and it becomes so involved and so complicated, we get swept up in it, and it usually becomes a very stressful challenge in a lot of cases. If we keep things simple and we just kind of go with the flow, have you ever noticed that when you go with the flow and you aren't fighting the current, things happen that you don't expect, but they're positive, they're good things. And things just seem to come together. You ever gone through a situation where you had planned something, and then you go ahead and execute the plan, and then everything seems to not work. It just doesn't work out. It seems to be one challenge after another, and then you just kind of go out, and you're just kind of free-flowing, and you really don't have a particular plan, and you're just going along with things, and boom, it's the best time you've ever had. And then you try to get it back, but it seems almost totally elusive to get that kind of flow back, because we have a tendency to fall back in that detailed and technical and involved type of situation. So I would take the simple over the complicated. And notice that when you're experiencing that flow, simple flow, it's easy. It's not stressful. It doesn't tug at you. It doesn't pull at you. And have you ever noticed that when you're listening to something or you're watching something, and repeatedly the information, and people report news across the planet, and there's alternative news media and certain people that are grassroots, not many, but there's a handful out there that really try hard to inform people about the things that are happening, and there's so many things happening. Now, have you noticed that there's a line that we draw, and you say, well, I have to, I'd like to get the information. I'd like to get the authentic, truthful information, so that I'm informed, so that I'm educated, and I can look at things much clearer for myself and know what's going on. So when you do that, you come across people that, and I don't know if they mean it, if it's conscious or it's just something that they do by informing the public on news and events, but where it is deep-seated, just constant doom and gloom. It's just overwhelming doom and gloom. They're reporting it, they're saying it, but it's every time. It's just, it kind of gets to the point where you say, I don't care to listen to this because it's pulling, it's lower vibrational frequencies. And so I do the best I can to stay away from that. Sometimes I get sucked into it, but not for long. But you try to stay away from that from a sensible standpoint. So you look at things simply by saying, okay, so we have this, and this going on. How can we change that? How can that be affected to be changed? And when we have to know. In order to know what to do, we have to know what's going on, where it's going on, what's happening. This is part of the educational process to inform ourselves so that we say, okay, so I know this is happening here, 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 and here, and here. Now, how can I affect a change to that? How can that be changed to a much more positive outcome than what is happening? Okay? And it's a fine line because you can't, you stick your head in the sand and you just don't look around and you don't absorb new knowledge, or you don't take in new knowledge, and you don't literally look at things from all sides. So we got to look at the bad side and the good side. So we know we have a complete picture of what actually is happening. So we're educating ourselves. So if your vibrational frequency is at a level that you're comfortable with, you say, my vibrational frequency is quite high because quite every day I thank Father for getting up every day. I thank Prime Source Creator God. I thank it for every single day, no matter what the day seems to be like. I know that within I am happy. And that is powerful because it separates us from the three-dimensional world. I mean, it doesn't shut us off. It just separates. There's an emotion, a feeling within us, our heart center, our God spark, that protects us and that wants us to be happy and blissful and joyful. Wants us to be all the time. And when we are, in physical form, it's a big challenge for us to stay or try to stay away from that plane of exposure, which means we literally are steeped in three-dimensional activities on the planet that are going on. And some of them, let's face it, it almost seems like a three-ring circus that's going on the planet. The things are so nonsensical and so absolutely crazy that they don't even bother to pay attention to. Our direction is to finally alleviate the blockages so that the light can just totally overtake any remnants of the dark, and that we can wash over all of the negatives and challenges that plague humanity completely across the board. I'm going to be doing an information call on the Earth and on the environment and the situations that have been occurring for quite a long time on the planet, more for an educational standpoint to help people become, if you're clear, to become clearer. If you're not clear, to become clear. So, and probably be doing that after we do our Saturday meditation. So, and I mean the Saturday meditation that we're going to be doing for the portal of manifestation and the Leo eclipse that will be happening on Saturday. So, but this meditation is a simple meditation. It's simplicity. To concentrate on things to simplify our lives, to simplify our existence, to live in joy and happiness, and to be more of a passive type of energy and flowing and fluid, so that we aren't caught up in, like sandpaper on a chalkboard type of irritation, where we are pulled into this energy that we don't care to entertain. It's just entertaining certain energies, and I'm sure you're aware of this, do us no good. Zero. If anything, they pull us in a different direction. So once you're cognizant to that fact, and you say, okay, fine, I've got that down. So now my alarms go off, say, no, I'm not going there. Don't need to go there. Have no benefit by going there. So you just let it go. You don't engage. You just don't engage with it. Becoming, getting involved in confrontation, getting involved in arguments are superfluous. The fool is the one who will engage. The wise one is the one who remains silent. See, a lot of people think things, and then the mistake they make is that they actually say them. But imagine if you think them and you don't say them. You don't need to say them. You just think them to yourself. This eliminates a lot of conflict, a lot of unnecessary energy being spent. So, simplifying our energy field, simplifying ourselves in this three-dimensional world, allows us to just kind of flow and not have to, grin and bear it type thing. We just flow, footloose, fancy-free. And you try that on occasion. Just to get used to it, you try it, on occasion. You don't do it, you're not used to it, so you just say, I'm going to try this and see how it goes. And you might want to try it several times during the course of a week, but let's see how I view things if I look at them in much more of a simple way. Simple things. You can make comparisons to things that you believe are simple. And then flow with that energy. And lighten the load. Being simple lightens the load. It lightens that heaviness that sometimes we feel. And by being simple, you increase the joy and the happiness. It's different. It's a different energy. I don't mean to be ignorant or to be not informed. I just mean to just be simple. Just kind of footloose and fancy-free type energy. So if you will, be in the place where you will not be interrupted if you aren't already. And relax the body, head to toe. And like with these meditations, I try to make it as simple as possible because that's the true form of communicating with your higher self, is simplicity. Making things simple, not complicated. So, you want to relax the body, picture a scene or an area that you're at where in your heart where you feel just totally relaxed, peaceful, serene, head to toe. You want to breathe in. You want to take about a half a dozen deep breaths and exhales. You want to hold it for about 3 seconds. You want to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. When you breathe in through the nose, you're breathing in divine positive energy. And that divine positive energy saturates you from head to toe. Immediately warms you, relaxes you. You feel the joy. You feel the ease. You feel the stress leaving. Any anxiety or stress that you're carrying with the course of the day is leaving you and dissipating away. You're breathing in bliss and joy and happiness. You're breathing in beauty. You're breathing in relaxation, kindness, happiness, wealth, health, abundance, prosperity. You're breathing all these things in. adjusting and balancing themselves as you breathe them in, saturating you. And you exhale, you're exhaling things that you say to yourself, I really don't need those. I don't need to have those with me. They don't serve me a purpose, so why should I carry them? I let them go. And then as you breathe out, you're blowing them out, and they're being vaporized by the purple transmuting flame. They're being sent back. They're being neutralized and sent back to the central sun. So then, you're relaxed. You are saturated with all of this wonderful energy. You go in through your heart center. You go as deep as you can until you feel a complete peace. You come to a vortex. And the vortex is all around you and above you, and it is literally sparkling and glittering and glowing in a golden white pink light and purple transmuting flame of Prime Source Creator God, eternal love. And that love is saturating you and filling you. Inside and out, both physically and etherically. So then you look at your higher self and you join with your higher self, become one, and form that strong bond, and all of our higher selves are in communication with each other. And we call upon all light beings of love and from the solar system, from the galaxy, from the universes, that are of love and from love, and we call upon the archangels, we call upon the ascended masters, we call upon the cherubim, the seraphim, we call upon the inner earth and hollow earth that are of love and from love. We call upon all light beings, the sprites, the fairies, all of the loved ones who have passed over, of love and from love. They all kind of just float in and join us, around us. We all join arm in arm. We float up and we're immediately encased in a perfect sphere, a bubble of the golden white pink light, purple transmuting flame, Prime Source Creator God's eternal love. And the only thing that can penetrate that sphere of protection is eternal love. So we're completely protected. We float up above the planet. We see our meditative sphere that we've created since February 12th of this year. And it's pulsating and glowing and reflecting, humming with a very high vibrational frequency, with all of our meditations in perpetual motion. We then feel the warm golden white pink light, purple transmuting flame light coming down over our heads. And we feel an ease, a joy, a release. It's like when you have a lot of tension and stress, and everything is simplified, and it's released. It's like the air being let out of a balloon. It's just gone. You feel so renewed and regenerated. You feel like you have just kind of like are young again, and full of energy and happiness and joy, and not really a care in the world. And you welcome this feeling, and it starts from the crown of your head, and you can feel it saturate all the way down, inside and out, all the way down to the toes of your feet. And you feel that feeling of lightness, of happiness, of joy. You know, all good things coming in for you. All happiness. And then you start to float. You feel buoyant. Almost like a heavy weight has been lifted permanently. And then we have this wave that comes out, this rain that spreads. If you look off in the distance and you see a wave of rain coming, that's what's happening to the entire human race and the planet and all life. And we're talking about all life. We're talking about the sea life. We're talking about the oceans. We're talking about the soils. We're talking about all life on this planet. Since we're all made up of plasma energy, all this life that is being lifted and its stresses lifted and it being enlightened and energized completely, So it's affecting all that there is. Now you imagine yourself as you feel this lightness, this joy from simplicity to all of the life, everything, our atmosphere, just becoming renewed and joyous and happy, and expressing a very high vibrational frequency and a very high level of happiness and bliss. Soil can be blissful, believe it or not. Air and water. Because when that vibrates to a much higher vibrational frequency, it releases all of the toxins and junk and garbage. So you're witnessing this, and we're all participating in this, and it's flowing, and everyone is becoming lighter, more buoyant, and happy, and joyous, and blissful, and energized. So you just enjoy the moment, enjoy the saturation of this wonderful vibrational frequency of simplicity, of being simple. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll be back to close us out.
Hello, I am Julie Joy of the Young Lightworkers. I'm going to stop the recording for the several moments of silence. Please feel free to pause your device and come back and join Jared for the wrap-up whenever you are ready.
As you're feeling the energy and the saturation of simplicity, you also, agitation will be taken away. You won't be agitated, and you won't look for immediate solutions, and things will literally arrive and become center stage naturally, and your higher wisdom, and you'll have a grander vision of things. You'll just feel with that lightness and being simple and allowing things to just flow. You'll be amazed at how things actually go. So there won't be any obstacles will fall aside. You won't have irritation, you won't have hurriedness, you won't have anxiousness, you won't have a lot of things that take place when we are constrained or complicated or stressed just on an everyday course of life. So in simplicity, a lot of things come into play. You're not in a hurry. You're not stressed out. It falls away. And it's really true because we've all experienced those little moments from time to time. We've all had them. We continue to have them. But they're few and far between. But when we focus on the lightness and being simple and looking at things from just a simple perspective and not becoming frustrated and fearful, all those emotions that challenge us and are obstacles, stress us out, we desire and want to alleviate the stress in our bodies. We desire that stress no longer is no longer there. We don't care to have it. And it dissipates. It's alleviated. And the more we do that, the more peace comes in. And like I've said this, and I think all of you know this, that it is true that when we become lighthearted and when we become simple, many more things come to us effortlessly. But see, if you look at the social structure of humanity, there's just so much and obstacles, and people are so entrenched with it, they don't have a knowledge how to remove themselves from it, to alleviate it. And we all have that power. Once we're directed to it and can tap into it, and we have have that confidence that it exists within us, we can do it. And through these simple meditations, we can reinforce it and bring it more to the surface and have so many more pleasant times and pleasant existence and view things. And you also view things from a totally different perspective. You're not looking at things, how do you put it, from a hard point. You're looking at things softly, intelligently, kind, peaceful, simple. I'll take that any day over that other junk that we have, that we deal with on a daily basis. So it's something to practice and to go into, and to, even if you have a day that's going, pretty good, you take a moment and go into that, where you say, I'm going to simplify everything. I'm going to look at everything from a simple standpoint. I'm going to just look at things in a simple way. And I'm going to breathe deeply and exhale, and I'll look at all of that and see how much of the obstruction falls off and melts away. You might be surprised. So I wish for everyone, all of you, that you have great, perfect health, that you're constantly healing at an accelerated rate from head to toe, inside and out of your physical body, and if need be, your etheric body. I also wish for you great and perfect wealth from all perspectives, great and perfect happiness, great and perfect joy, great and perfect patience, great and perfect bliss. The more we gravitate towards these energies, the more things change for the better on this planet. The more we gravitate towards those energies that we have, that exist within us, the more things will change for the better on this planet and everywhere else. That's a high motivational factor. So we will be back here at 3 p.m. Wednesday, August 8th, 2018, at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I wish all of you, Prime Source Creator God, blessings for the rest of this day and into the night until we meet tomorrow.